Hi everyone, welcome to Capital Update. We're here at the end of the 2010 legislative session with Representative Sandra Masin of Eagan and Burnsville. Thanks for stopping by.
Hi, Charlene.
Hi. How are you doing after the grueling final week of session? Are you getting a little bit of rest?
Definitely getting caught up for sure.
It really is amazing. I think the amount of time and the amount of work that goes into a legislative session really comes to a head in those last few days, and you see all-night sessions and people working hard to finish on time. You must feel pretty good about the fact that you did get out basically on time.
Exactly.
Again.
I mean, and that was, I think, one of my goals, because I didn't see anything that was going to change at the end in any event. So we knew what the players were. We knew what we had to accomplish.
So let's talk about the session in total. It was you certainly came into the session with some pretty big challenges to balance the budget. You had 250,000 Minnesotans unemployed, some healthcare issues. Let's talk about the work from the beginning of the session.
Okay. Actually, it never seemed like there was an end to the last year's session. And starting in the fall, for instance, that's when we started the Jobs Task Force, the Small Business Caucus. So all through the fall and winter, we were gearing to get bills ready for jobs as soon as we came into session. And I think we did pass a number of our major bills right at the beginning in the hopes that at least the jobs would be able to be bid, et cetera, and get people to work as soon as possible. So I felt really good about that. And then once we did that, obviously trying to get balancing out the remainder of the budget and come to a conclusion was what we did for the remainder of those months.
And it's interesting because you actually did some major budget work even before the midterm recess. You had balanced a third of the budget. You also did, Representative Masin, something you were really involved with. You did a lot with the Small Business Caucus.
Exactly.
Really passed some legislation. I think there were 8 recommendations, and 7 of those are now law signed by the governor. What's that going to do for small businesses?
A number of things. Item one, we were trying to streamline the process for them. And then in the meetings that we had with them, the other thing was the fact that many of them weren't aware of some of the programs that were already in existence to help them. So that's something else that I think both between the meetings that we have and what you'll see going forward is really important. And then I know I had a bill that would get contacted with businesses that we know were seriously in thinking about leaving the state, and that's again, they were supposed to do some fast acting, so that's important. So that if nothing else, my hope is that they understand how important these businesses are to us, and that we are certainly trying to work to achieve what they need to get their businesses going. And in both of those conferences, what we kept hearing was the fact that there was a lack of confidence. We know that the businesses are building up their reserves, so they are, if they're still there, they're stable, but it's getting them to the next level. So hopefully with this legislation, that'll give them the impetus to go forward.
You did a lot of work too on some tax reform, just really to kind of spur investment in Minnesota businesses, an angel investor credit, research and development.
Exactly.
So really some tax reform that was, again, bipartisan in nature. The governor signed, but you really had a lot to do with that, and I know you actually worked very hard and were an author of some of those pieces of legislation.
And that is critical. Last session I had been on the Bioscience Committee, and that's where I think you would see the main interest for research and development and for the angel investor. But it's at this point, because we are trying to get so many new jobs into Minnesota, that hopefully that will help the other businesses as well.
So certainly a lot got done, especially in the early weeks of the session, and it was a shorter than normal session. Coming up to the end of the session with about 2 weeks to go, kind of a new wrinkle appeared into the mix. We're talking with Representative Sandra Masin of Eagan and Burnsville, and we're going to continue talking about the state budget in just a few minutes.